Good Wednesday morning. So today we're on Psalm 28. Psalm 28 is titled My Strength. So verse 1. Lord, I call to you, my rock, do not be deaf to me. If you remain silent to me, I will be like those going down to the pit. Listen to the sound of my pleading when I cry to you for help, when I lift up my hands toward your holy sanctuary. Do not drag me away with the wicked, with the evildoers, who speak in friendly ways with their neighbors, while malice is in their hearts. Repay them according to what they have done, according to the evil of their deeds. Repay them according to the work of their hands. Give them back what they deserve. Because they do not consider what the Lord has done, or the work of his hands, he will tear them down and not rebuild them. Blessed be the Lord, for he has heard the sound of my pleading. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and I am helped. Therefore my heart celebrates, and I will give thanks to him with my song. The Lord is the strength of his people. He is a stronghold of salvation for his anointed. Save your people, bless your possession, shepherd them, and carry them forever. So now on Monday, we talked about how there's a call to be faithful. A call to be faithful to an identity of love. And on Tuesday, yesterday, we talked about how there's a command to be faithful to resist fear. And that stepping into an identity of fear greatly reduces your capacity to overcome difficult circumstances. Now with this one here, this is this psalm, this is kind of the solution to what to do when fear does come against you. So now when we talk about fear, there's a lot of I guess you could say there's a lot of different kinds of fear. There's a there's a fear of so if you're kind of thinking about yourself, there's a fear of I don't measure up, a fear of I'm not good enough, a fear of I could probably do it but I'll probably mess it up. Or there's external fear, an external fear of this person, depending on what they say, will change the course of my life, or it feels like my hands are in the hands of another person and I don't know what that person is going to do, so I'm kind of scared of what they're going to do. Or one of the most basic kinds of fear is the fear of I don't have enough money. There's actually a parable in the New Testament that talks about how money is the least faithful thing that you can be faithful in. So there's a parable where you got three servants. For the sake of this analogy, I'll just kind of make it simple. You got one servant who's given $10, and you got one servant given $3, and you got one servant who's given $1. The servant who's given $10, he went out and doubled it to $20. The servant who was given $3 doubled it and turned it into $6. But the person who was given $1, instead of growing that dollar, what happened was they buried that dollar in the ground and said, I'm just gonna hide, and I don't really want to do anything because I'm scared that I'm gonna blow it. It's kind of what it is. Now here's the thing, the person who gave them the money gave them a command of, I need you to keep doing business until I come back. So the person who grew the 10 to 20 and the 3 to 6, they kept the business going and they grew that dollar amount. And so because of that, they were rewarded because of their faithfulness with that money. In other words, they were faithful with the resources they were given. And because they were faithful with those resources, they were given more resources because they proved themselves faithful. But the person who was given $1, he did not do anything with that dollar. And the person who gives the money, he says, even if you put it in a bank that it might grow interest, that would have been better than just burying it in the ground. But because you were scared and because you didn't do anything with it, I'm going to take it from you because you haven't proved that you're a faithful person. So this is a big reason why it's important to understand the idea of faithfulness, is because there's a principle of to whom much is given, more is given, and to whom doesn't use, even what they have is taken away. And this relates to a lot of other things too. Hearing God is another aspect that this is covered too. Those with ears to hear, who use it, they'll be able to hear more. But those who hear but don't, but those who refuse to hear, even that is taken away. So an idea and a concept that I need you to change your mind on is that in the Christian life, there's no such thing as I'm just gonna coast and I'm just gonna reap the fruits of my labor, put my feet up on the table and just kind of kick back. No, there's always a spiritual principle that you're either always growing or either you're always diminishing. And so I need to go back and repeat that God is no respecter of persons. It doesn't matter how much resources you were given. All that matters is that you're faithful with what you were given. It's easy that if you were given $3 to look at the person who was given $10 and say, well, they were given more, like, what do you want from me? Well, once again, the person grew the 10 to a 20 and the person grew a 3 to a 6. And all that mattered is that they were faithful with what they were given, and that was rewarded. The person who was given $3 didn't need to grow that to $20. He just needed to grow it proportionally to what he was given. So if you feel like you've been given the short end of the stick of $1, realize that the only expectation there is an expectation to be faithful with that $1 and grow it to $2. And that faithfulness in little will be rewarded, because all of this is constrained under the idea of if you're faithful with a little bit, you're faithful with a lot. If you're not faithful with a little bit, then you're not faithful with a lot. And a lot of us, we want to jump to the starting point of $10, but that's not how it works. How it works is look at what you have and realize that there's an obligation to grow it, to steward it, to take those resources and apply it to something. And starting out, it may feel like you're wasting those resources, but your effort in trying to do something with those resources is what's looked at more than anything. And so we looked at this here, and it says that the Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him and I am helped. Therefore my heart celebrates and I give thanks to him with my song. But the beginning of the psalm says, Lord, I call to you, my rock. Do not be deaf to me. Do not remain silent to me. This is an aspect of it, is because as you're trying to start this walk of faithfulness, when you do mess up, the answer to that mistake is to call out to God. Because once again, his love is not dependent on your actions. All it's dependent on is you saying, oh man, I blew it. I did the wrong thing. I was trying to do the right thing. I don't know why I did the wrong thing, even though I knew what the right thing was. God, I'm sorry. Let's get about the business of cleaning this up and making it better. So you just have to admit that, yeah, I made a mistake. Say you're sorry, apologize for it, and then just re-humble yourself to Jesus and say, I'm sorry that I didn't really handle this the best way. I'm gonna reassume a posture of humility and let you be Lord, let you be God. And pretty soon you'll find that your faithfulness with the resource of $1 will quickly it'll exponentially grow. Because if you remember on Monday, we talked about how a fertile soil multiplies things by up to 100, even more. So even though you're starting with $1, there's the potential of I can multiply this by 100 and just go straight to $100. And that's the cool thing, is because God is no respecter of persons, he has to respect your individual effort. And he has to reward that effort, regardless of what it looks like everyone else is getting. And the cool thing is that this growth does not come with sorrow. It does not come with grief. It just adds to the joy, adds to the happiness. So with that, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.